Hello and welcome to the Halftime Report here on the Barroom Network. John Mafone alongside Aldo Gandia. The Chicago Bears, just when you have no expectations for them, just when you don't think they can do anything, not just when you stop caring, they go up and they put a 30 burger on in the first half. They lead the Texans 30-7. Aldo, just night and day looking at this offensive performance. I know we got to speak relatively. We got to understand who they're playing, but we said that last week when they were playing the Lions. Mitch Trubisky, 3 touchdowns. David Montgomery over 100 yards so far in the first half. What's your takeaway?
My takeaway is that they're doing what they should be doing against a Texans defense that is just horrible. I mean, they are bad against the pass. They're bad against the run, and they've demonstrated that against the Chicago Bears. But what is more encouraging is that the Bears scheme from an offensive standpoint has taken advantage of that with quick passes. They've minimized the decision-making that Mitch Trubisky has to do. There have been a couple of plays where he's looked deep and then checked it down, which is what he is best at doing. Don't give him multiple reads and so forth. Let him make quick decisions, and his effectiveness has been really, really good when he's been getting rid of the ball quickly, his first read, and that's how you win with Mitch Trubisky. He can be very effective against teams with bad defenses, and he can be somewhat effective against teams with good defenses as long as the scheme is good. He's never going to be Aaron Rodgers or Peyton Manning or any of the greats in this league, but he can be very effective. And then the defense has played well, with the exception of that one drive where they gave that huge pass play to Duke Johnson. With the exception of that, they've played fairly solid. And one issue that I had with them is that they were allowing Watson to get away from contain, and Watson was able to extend drives with his feet. But for the most part, it's typical Bears defense where they bend and rarely break.
Yeah, going back to the offense, we saw a lot of that. I saw a good progression from the quote touchdown to check down mentality from Mitch, where he looks down the field, it's not there, checks down, and that's why he's 18 of 21 for 178 yards. Allen Robinson with 8 receptions in the first half for 88 yards and a touchdown. They're getting Cole Kmet involved. He has 3 catches already. So I like the way that they're spreading the ball around, and I like the way that they have given David Montgomery a little bit of an opportunity to play. Obviously, he broke off an 80-yard touchdown to start the game, and so they gave him a little bit of I think he has 6 carries. I think they have 12 carries total in the first half. So pretty balanced, but they're also, like you said, crafting a game plan to what Mitch Trubisky can do. And we should all always obviously keep in perspective who they're playing, and they're playing the Texans. And I know a lot of fans that were cheering for the tank are probably upset right now because they see themselves just moving further and further down in the draft selection order if this game does hold true. But although we got a third quarter to play, we know that the Bears aren't exactly the best third quarter team. They're not even an average third quarter team. In fact, they're the worst third quarter team in the league. So we'll see how they come out if they want to keep playing. But honestly, it looks like they're playing a team that has given up, a team that did not want to go to Chicago, a team that did not want to play this game. And the Bears are, and don't take anything away from the Chicago Bears, they're executing. They came in and they're doing what they wanted to do. But it is very obvious that they are not just playing a bad team, but they're playing a bad team with a lot of injuries. They're playing with a bad team without Will Fuller and a lot of other weapons, and their starting cornerback is suspended as well. So let's keep in perspective who they're playing. But we've seen this team blow leads, and we've seen this team play poorly against bad teams as well. So, having a 23-point cushion going into the third quarter hopefully would be enough.
Yeah. The difference between this week and last week is that the Lions were revved up. They really wanted to play well because they were celebrating the firing of Matt Patricia. So even when they were down at the half, they had maybe not confidence, but they had the desire to come back. When you look at the Houston Texans, this is a team that right now didn't appear to be that way late in the second quarter, where you saw those images of Deshaun Watson and other players on the sideline. They look like as you described it, they don't want to be here in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Now, they are 4-4 under Romeo Cremels, and he is a veteran coach, so he may know what to say to get this team fired up. He may know the adjustments to make to take advantage of the Bears' soft spots. So I'm not saying that this game is in the bag by any means, but I do feel better about their chances to hold on in the second half. And you brought up that great point. Third quarter has been an evil quarter for the Chicago Bears this season. My hope is that they will at least score one touchdown and hold the opposition, because as we know, they've only scored 7 points, I believe, the entire season on the third quarter. So it would be nice to see this offense come out there and sustain a long drive and get some points and then go into the fourth quarter with some momentum.
And honestly, I think if this team, they get the ball at the start of the third quarter, they score, they can potentially put the nail in this coffin of a game. They go, if they score a touchdown, they go on, they drive down the field, and all of a sudden they're up 30 points. I don't see the Houston Texans rallying to come back. So they can really put this game away in the first drive, if as far as I'm concerned. Now, there's a lot that can go wrong as well. So you got to protect the ball. Don't get too loose. Don't get too complacent. Don't start racking up 3 and outs, because we've seen that happen. We've seen lulls. We've seen hot streaks, and we've seen lulls. So this is the opportunity to put that to bed, where you just say, keep hammering down, keep keep your foot on the gas pedal, and put this team out. This is a team you should beat. Beat them. Beat them right now in the third quarter. Put them away. So we'll see. We'll see how they react. I mean, I know that we keep harping on how bad. I mean, there is no. I don't know what the science is behind why they're so bad in the third quarter, but there has to be some kind of reason. I don't just think it as some kind of cosmic coincidence that they're so bad in the third quarter. So there has to be a reason why this is happening. Let's see if they can get past that this week. It looks like a different team. Once again, I'm not gonna just say that, oh, look, everything's fixed, because I know who they're playing. We all see who they're playing. We all see the team that's in front of them. But I would be remiss if before we went on, Tyler Ellis is going to be with us after the game for the post-game show, but he made sure to tell us in the post to talk up Mitch, talk about how good Mitch is playing, because he's our Mitch guy on this show. He's always been the Mitch supporter on here. So I'll take his duty and say Mitch has played well. And whether Mitch believes that he's just trying to get this team to maybe squeak into the playoffs, or whether he's auditioning for his next gig, wherever that may be, he is doing a good job of, kind of polishing up that resume a little bit. He has a little more highlights, a couple more highlights to put on his film as he approaches free agency in the offseason. So Mitch doing what he can do, not just for the team, but also for himself.
Yeah. Now, here's some reason for hope for a good third quarter is, according to Dan Wiederer, that 80-yard touchdown run by David Montgomery ended the longest touchdown drought in Bears history. It says here, including the playoffs, the Bears had gone 38 games, 430 possessions. That's almost 2,500 plays since the last time they scored an offensive touchdown from their own side of the field. So it wasn't quite something that they've never done before, but it's just been a long, long drought. And so let's hope that they can also end that third quarter drought. And as for Tyler wanting us to talk about Trubisky, absolutely. The guy, you got to give him some props. And like I said, he's still not going to be the greatest quarterback in the NFL, but he can do some good things. He does have tools, and is effective depending on how you do it. And so I'm going to give even bigger props to Bill Lazor, because I thought the game plan from an offensive standpoint was really brilliant, really well designed, took advantage of the Texans' deficiencies, and I just love it when they are calling slants, when they're calling these quick passes, when Trubisky's getting the ball out quickly. He doesn't have a lot of decision making to do and so forth. That's the way to do it, and there's a healthy dose of the run game. I know a lot of people were mad at that first down play inside the 5-yard line that they gave the ball to Cordero Patterson. It was fine. I thought that was good. He was running really, really hard, and that's one thing that I hated about Patterson in the first part of the season, or for the majority of the season. He was taking things outside because he wanted to utilize that speed. But if he's going to play running back, he should play from a power back position. I remember going out to Bourbon and seeing him out there and thinking, that guy is a wide receiver and a tight end's body. In fact, I mean, this guy is huge, and I love it when he plants that foot and then heads to the line of scrimmage. So to give him the ball on that first down, I thought was fine. Then, unfortunately, there was that stupid play afterwards where they called some kind of a trick play, and they were penalized for 5 yards, moved them back. But Trubisky got them out of the hole with a nice touchdown pass to Jimmy Graham. So a lot to be happy about. Let's just hope they can play all 4 quarters.
Yeah, let's mention the offensive line a little bit too. I think that they probably, I mean, for what they have, they might have found the best out of a bad situation that they can find as far as who needs to be playing where. They did a great job on that Montgomery run, and although the Texans have gotten to Mitch a couple times, we know what they're working with. And whenever you're trying to throw things together with Band-Aids and bubble gum and paper clips, sometimes that's going to happen. And so we're kind of getting the most out of a bad situation. Now, there's going to be plenty to talk about after this game, and I have a feeling a lot of it may not be just about the game, because I think that the Bears fans, for the most part, have checked out of the present. Now, they will have if they do win this game, they'll have that ever so slight playoff chance still alive. I don't know if it's going to rise above 6% that it was last week. It might rise to 10% or whatever. So, I mean, that will still be a talking point, but I think a lot of Bears fans are going to be talking about they want to talk about 2021 at this point. And I understand there's still games to be played, and there's important games to be played, and draft positioning and all that other stuff. But this was promising to see some of those players out there still playing with some fire, still playing with still wanting to play. There's no fans in Soldier Field, so it's really hard to gain any kind of adrenaline rush whenever there's no fans out there. You kind of got to create your own momentum and create your own adrenaline. So they're doing a good job at doing that. We'll see if we'll see if they fall flat in the third quarter. But once again, I think a lot of Bears fans, and I said this earlier this week, we're in that dangerous apathetic zone. And although the team is winning by 23 points, you're not seeing a whole lot of rah, hey, playoffs are still alive kind of thing. I think that the majority of Bears fans have slipped into that apathetic stage still. And this game matters, but doesn't matter to some, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of debate going on in the chat room now. People are saying you would rather them win and have a mediocre season to get a high draft pick, comments like that. This isn't about playing for a higher draft pick. This is about building a winning culture. This is about developing the talent that you have now. When you see Darnell Mooney scoring a touchdown pass, that should give you hope that 2021 is going to be better than last year. When you see the offensive line and young players like Alex Bars and Sam Mustipher playing well, that should give you hope that 2021 could be better. Yes, we need a quarterback. There's no doubt about it. But guess what? You can find good quarterbacks later in the draft. Patrick Mahomes was drafted 10th. Deshaun Watson was drafted 11th. Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. It's very, very difficult the later you draft to find better quarterbacks, but it is still possible. And hey, we have a quarterback right now under contract. His name is Mitchell Trubisky, and I would love to see him finish this last quarter of the season playing well, so that way we have a choice and maybe draft an offensive lineman in the first round and then draft a developmental quarterback in the second round. There's a lot more to talk about. We'll do it right after the game is over. We will be right here. This is Bear Football with John Buffone. I'm Aldo Gandia. Tyler Ellis will join us later. We'll talk to you right after the game. Okay, amigo, I will send you a new link, and we'll talk after the game.
Sounds good. We'll see you in a little bit.
All right, brother.
Bye-bye.